Hi, my name is Bruna and I'm a Casper Ruud fan. I am going to address claims made in a video along the lines that Ruud is the worst top 10 player in the modern era. In my view, that is unfair and exaggerates Ruud weaknesses. It isn't a fair reflection of who Ruud is as a player. First of all, I'm going to say Ruud is a bit like the opposite of Thomas Müller. Thomas Müller is a fantastic footballer. He's regarded as one of the best players of his generation. He has often been overlooked by individual awards. Because of that, a narrative has been formed claiming he's one of the most underrated players in football history and that is better than players like Neymar or Kevin De Bruyne. I feel like these claims do these claims do flatter Müller's standing as a player. Yes, he's a phenomenal footballer, but the likes of Neymar and De Bruyne are just better, and because hasn't been fairly recognized by individual awards, some people do overrate him. I think that the opposite happens a bit to Casper Ruud when Ruud is assessed, when Ruud career is looked at by tennis fans. First of all, Ruud's record against top 10 players isn't actually poor at all. He has 20 top 10 wins, which isn't a very low number. Some top players like Coria, for example, had less top 10 wins than Ruud, in part because they had a very short prime. Berrettini has less top 10 wins than Ruud and is more highly regarded by tennis fans than Ruud is. He's seen as being more of a solid top 10 player, yet Ruud has more top 10 wins and he has beaten Berrettini most of the time when they played each other. Aside from the fact that 20 top 10 wins isn't a very low number and it is against top 5 players that Ruud struggles, Ruud has actually a rather strong career in some important metrics. For example, he doesn't only have 3 Slam finals and a Masters 1000 title, he has also several deep runs at Masters 1000 events and at the year and championships. Yes, actually, his performances at those events are better than some players who are more highly regarded than him, like De Minor or Berrettini or even Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz, who is seen as a very solid top 10 player, is one of the best. Seen as one of the best second tier players in the top 10. He has less deep runs at Masters events and at the year and championships than Ruud so far. He actually also has a slam semi-final aside from his 3 slam finals. And I feel like with Ruud, people sometimes do move the goalposts. For example, for years, Ruud was subject to criticism because he hadn't won a Master 1000 title, while some players outside of the top 10 had won it. So that was used as a stick to beat him with. Yet Ruud did win a Masters 1000 title, despite many people saying he was never going to win it because he's apparently a small tournament merchant. And yet people still refuse to recognize him as a solid top 10 player. This is in part because of the flaws in Ruud's career. He doesn't have many statement wins and he has frequent losses to lower ranked players, so this is partly his fault, but there is definitely an element of people moving the goalposts for him rather than recognizing, rather than crediting him for his achievements. Aside from that, another thing that doesn't get talked about as much when it comes to Ruud is his Roland Garros semi-final in 2024 against Zverev. Had he won that match, he would be seen as a player as being on a similar level, as being just as good as the likes of Taylor Fritz or Rublev, who are seen as very strong, as solid, very solid top 10 players, not as poor top 10 players, but they are commonly seen as very good players, not as some people who don't deserve to be, have not earned their top 10 spot, like many people see Ruud does. And he couldn't win that match, in part because he had a stomach parasite, which was the main reason he lost that match. Now Zverev is a levels ahead of now Zverev has a far better career than Ruud. So he might have won that match, but Ruud would have definitely had a shot at winning that match had he not had that parasite. So I believe that there are some reasons to believe Ruud might have won that match if he won the first set easily. In the sets he lost, Zverev couldn't completely dominate him, even if Ruud had a stomach parasite. So I believe that someone was reputation as being a weak top 10 players depends at least in part on a match where he wasn't at his best. I believe that he shouldn't be seen as one of the very worst top 10 players or as the worst. Also, another ally said in that video claiming Ruud is the worst top 10 player in the modern era is that Ruud didn't win a set in his slam finals. He did win a set in his USA Open final against Carlos Alcaraz. For someone who is said to be the worst top 10 player in history, is massively underrated. Yes, he does actually have many deep runs at Masters 1000 events and the year-end championships, aside on top of three slam finals and a Masters 1000 title. I believe he deserves more respect, even if he does end up declining. An irony in his career is that he's said to have been lucky to reach slam finals because he's not as good as some other slam finalists, but it might have taken just a match for him to reach elite status as a player, which is a tragedy in part for how his career is perceived, for his career is seen. And he also a very talent. Also a very highly skilled tennis player. He has a very high, it's a very good career win rate. He had one of the best win rates on the ATP Tour last year, even if he was out of the top 10. That shows just of talented he is as a player. But unfortunately, but unluckily for him, he has declined after his stomach parasite 2 years ago. He hasn't just not been the same player anymore. Still, he doesn't deserve to be seen as one of the very worst top 10 players, and is not as bad as some people claim he is. His consistency should be recognized. People shouldn't just look at his lack of statement wins.